And we are back. Sorry about that, guys. Lots of technology issues this morning with the streaming software and with NinjaTrader. Hopefully you guys have been able to log back in and check out the stream. Let's just see where we are at. Let's delete some of these old lines. Golden ruler is right here. Okay, so currently we are in this bullish trade here that just hit target, or yep, just hit target. Another setup right here to go bullish. Don't like that we just failed like that, but let's just see what happens. I will move it to break even. Really just wanted to go up now. It's kind of hesitating. At least it's at break even at this point, but okay, there we go. See if we can get those 15 points. Nope, but we did get about a little over 7 points. So that's nice. Not sure if I'll retest 100 again. It comes back down, because if it does, you'll end up drawing this downward trend line like this. I'd rather it just actually go up and hit target now. Because if it comes down and actually retests 100, we have this lower high situation right here. So let's just see. I would have gotten back in here, and we would have gotten almost stopped out. My stop loss is at 94. It would have missed us by a tick. I would have moved it to break even, and then we would have gotten stopped out at break even here. And now you can see, like, I don't really want to take the bullish trade anymore. We have sort of this downward trend line that's working against us. And then, yeah, we would have gotten stopped out for sure right there. This triggered lower. Part of me wanted to take it off this EMA. It would have worked. But seeing that the 100 was the bigger magnet, I didn't know if I wanted to take it at the EMA at the time. And now we're coming into this potential zone of support where these upward trend lines. So I don't know if I want to take this one bearish. Might run into this level of support here. So this is actually a very tricky zone. We also have sort of these prior highs down here, which could act as support. So I could draw it real quick. Kind of have this sort of zone of support potentially. It was resistance and it could act as support right there. We did trigger down. Figure out where my runner is. Where is my runner? Right there. So the runner was taken out, so we also trigger bullish right here, but we have 100 above us. All right, my 9:55 alarm just went off, so we have 5 minutes till 10 o'clock, and 10 o'clock news is an orange folder today, so medium level of volatility. Let's see what's going to happen. We're kind of in this sandwich in between these two ranges and in this wedge as well, so I don't know if I want to be taking any trades anyway. Hopefully 10 o'clock news will push us out of this range, either straight up or straight down. We can kind of look at where we are and where we land at that point. This did trigger down, but again, we have support underneath us with this EMA. We didn't take the 100 bounce back up because of this downward trend line. We have high, lower high, lower high. We're still in an overall upward trend, but in the more immediate short-term trend, it is down. And we just hit the bearish target right there. Okay. See if this level that I've marked here is going to play a factor. Looks like we are potentially getting a bounce here, but we'll see. Do have news in less than 2 minutes. All right, we got about 15 seconds. Let's see if fireworks will go off or not. All right, it's 10 o'clock. We triggered both bullish and bearish. Bearish trade was the cleaner setup, but they both run into issues, right? Bullish trade has 100 in the way. Bearish trade is coming back down into this upward trend line that I just drew. I was hoping we would get some sort of movement from the news. Granted, it's still 10 o'clock, but it doesn't look like it. Now our wedge is getting smaller and smaller, so... But as soon as you exit this tiny wedge, you have the bigger wedge above you, and you have this support zone underneath you. So... You know what I might end up doing is using a different tool here. What is that tool? Is it control? Shift F2? Yeah, Shift F2. There we go. That way it becomes a ray, so I don't have to keep extending it until we can get through it. Hey, who's gonna win this little battle here? Looks like the bears. Okay, we're coming into that zone. I actually hope we just go right through it so I can delete it. This looks like exactly what's happening. Okay, this zone is no longer valid. Delete this upward trend line. Delete this upward trend line. Technically speaking, our golden ruler is right here. Runner is still running. Okay. Runner's been taken out. We are in this much bigger wedge. Let's see what we do with this 21 EMA. We are also bouncing off of the 5-minute 8 EMA right here. So I don't know if I want to take a bearish trade around this area if we're going to potentially come back down into this 8 EMA and bounce back up. So did get a bearish trigger here, but we're right above this trend line that I have drawn. And we're right above that 8 EMA on the 5 minutes, so I can't take this bearish. See that trend line held and the 8 EMA held. They were both at the same area. This potentially could be the next trigger to go up, but we do have this downward trend line in a way. We're kind of stuck. We can't take bullish or bearish trades in the current area that we're in. We're still technically in this same bearish trade here. Hasn't stopped out yet. This area here is where the 8 EMA on the 5 minute is located, so we're still getting buyers defending this 8 EMA. Alright, and with this candle, it actually adjusts two trend lines here. We have this aggressive trend line and this macro trend line here. Again, we're still in the same bearish trade here, but having a hard time going down because of that 8 EMA on the 5 minute. I mean, eventually something is going to give, right? One side is just going to give up. Bearish target did get hit. Okay, we're working our way down to the 50 level, and we have a standard deviation level down here. So this could be a potential area of support. All right, instead we actually get a new bearish signal here. I do need it to come up to 50. I'm actually not liking it anymore because by the time it now comes up to the 50 level, you're going to have a higher low. So at this point, I actually just wanted to go down and hit its target. I don't really want it to come back up and retest 50 and the standard deviation level. Just kind of wanted to go down. We also have the... Oh, yesterday's high is this blue line. This could potentially act as support. See buyers stepping in here. It's yesterday's high. I mean, by following all the rules, you tend to be much more disciplined and your entries are going to be a lot better. Right now, this is not a very good setup, like to go bearish or bullish. We did end up getting that high here, so technically speaking, we do have this look here. We just broke it, but all right, now bulls definitely gave up because they were defending that level. We are coming up into another big level of 25,000. Let's put this here. Let's put this here. Yeah, they want to come down to 25K. It is a very nice even number, right? Round even number. That is the most likely goal. It's from back here. We have this swing, pullback, swing. So these are two swing levels. So that's where that upward trend line is from. Could make it dashed. So I'm drawing two different types of trend lines. I call them micro and macro. Micro is the more immediate trend line that's closest to the overall setup, and macro trend lines are part of the bigger swings. And sometimes I differentiate my macro trend lines with this dotted line and my micro trend lines with a straight line with no dash. Sometimes price movement happens so fast that I don't have time to go in the settings and change it from dashed lines to straight lines, but they're trend lines nonetheless that we need to pay attention to. So right now we have a more immediate micro upward trend line that was holding, and then we just broke through it. This micro trend line held. This one broke. We're getting that bounce off that 25,000. Yes, that's another way of looking at it, Doug. Correct. I tend to make the dotted lines based on the swing levels. And then you can think of the straight lines based on the more immediate levels. Buyers were definitely waiting for it to come down to 25K, it looked like, because got that immediate bounce up, hitting its target. We are getting another setup right here to go bullish, but actually at this point it's too big. Oh, and actually it's not. It's actually just the right size. So if it wants to come down to this EMA, we'll go ahead and buy it. But it might just go up and hit target without us, and that's fine. That's completely fine. Yeah, I just deleted it. I'm deleting all the old lines now that we've violated, that are no longer valid. And this line also gets deleted as well. All right, we hit target. This is a nice bullish candle. It did trigger higher. I do have that other trend line in the way. Otherwise, I would have taken this one. This is the trend line I'm talking about from back here. Otherwise, we would have taken the bounce off the standard deviation right there. Into the move into 77. And we would have locked in at least 5 points because it pulled back, made 10 and pulled back. I'm not gonna get into this. I am following my rules, I cannot take this because of this trend line here. And I'll make it a dotted trend line because technically it's a macro trend line. You can see we're pulling back. So I really just gotta be consistent with my rule set. Which, by the way, I am creating my own version of the day trading course, and it will talk about all the rules. It'll be laid out. So it won't be ambiguous. It'll be very clear. We now have another, this is another lower high based on this high and this high. So I have to draw that line. They are acting as resistance right now. Yeah, that's correct, Doug. I mean, the reason why I have them drawn here is for us to be aware that there is potential resistance above our heads, right? But once we break through that resistance and close above it, like the candle closes above it, that is no longer resistance. It is null and void, right? So we have to delete it. So a lot of these trend lines are for situational purposes and for us to figure out, like for example here, this candle triggered higher, but the measured move has to go through this original downward trend line and this new downward trend line. And so the probability of it going through two sets of resistance levels is a lot lower. And so this is not a high probability setup. The probability of this trade working has been diminished. We're also underneath us have the 25,050 level acting as support. We're also having this EMA, and we also have this upward trend line. So we are sandwiched in between support and resistance, and you really don't want to be taking trades in the middle of being in this sandwich, right? Yeah, it has to close above the line. So like, for example, see how we tested the line here? But we haven't closed above it yet. We didn't close above it. So guess what? I'm keeping these lines here because... But now it looks like we're moving up. So if dependent on this candle that's forming right now, will determine whether or not I delete these two lines. If it did technically close above both lines, so I will be deleting both these lines now. Now, if this candle closes bearish underneath this candle, it's going to be considered a pullback, and then I will be forced to draw another trend line. But as of right now, this candle is okay. It didn't close below this candle. If it did, I would have drawn that trend line. But this candle is gonna close below this one. And so now we're going to draw that downward trend line. And you could see like buyers, for whatever reason, weren't able to get above this 71 level. We also now triggered lower here, but we're still right above support. We're still technically in this bullish trade that hasn't stopped out yet. We're now in this new bearish trade, but we have support right there. So both trades are not very good trades, so we're going to skip them. And this, by following these rules, it'll help you avoid chop like we're currently in right now. We're in very much choppy price action since 1020. So for the last 6 minutes, we've just been chopping around. Now, guess what's going to happen if this candle now closes lower? We'll draw another trend line from this high to this lower high. Yep, chops. But if these sets of candles start going higher and closing above this downward trend line, we can delete it. In the meantime, we're just stuck. All right, if this candle closes below this prior candle, below the wick, which, nope, it didn't. It held ground. Now, all right, now we're looking like we want to break up to the upside. This candle closed above that trend line. We can delete it, and we just hit our target. Keep track of the runner now. Now I gotta figure out where the golden ruler is. Still down here. Okay. We're now bumping up against this trend line and this trend line. So you can see how these trend lines play a factor in determining levels. Yeah, I know. These rules are a result of these types of observations over looking at thousands of hours of trading behavior. And when I do follow my rules, I avoid the chop. I really do. When I don't follow my rules, I get chopped up. And it becomes very frustrating, and then I end up forcing trades. We could delete this measured move. It's already been hit. We have this bearish trigger here, and we have this bullish trigger here. Looks like the bullish trade is almost at target. Now you see how we have this swing low and this higher low? This constitutes another trend line. What was confusing about here was we were trying to create higher lows and higher highs, but then this low broke this to the downside. So we transitioned, but we went back up, we broke this high, we transitioned again. And so this is why this behavior is very, very confusing in this choppiness. We broke this trend line, broke this trend line. And now we have two sets of downward trend lines. We have this one, which is based on this swing and this swing. And then we have this one, which is based on the more aggressive pivot level. Again, I can't take any of these trades. We're in the middle of indecision, consolidation, whatever you want to call it. if we get a candle that closes above this candle here, I will be drawing a new upward trend line like this, because now this will constitute a higher low. So it's good to know like ahead of time where you're going to be drawing these trend lines, but it's really based on the behavior of the candles. So you may not know it right away. All right, so this candle looks like it wants to go up. We did hit the bullish target here. We can delete this. Now we have a higher low based on this low here. We draw this trend line. We're still technically in this bearish trade here. This candle broke this downward trend line. We can delete that. Now we got another bullish trigger off of this bounce of this EMA. But again, there was no room for us to go back to the upside. We've now broken through all these levels of resistance. So let's start deleting them. We still have this one candle here, or one trend line here that could still act as resistance. Not candle, sorry, trend line. This last level of defense, also this prior high right there, could act as resistance. But if we break out through this level here, we're probably going to retest 100. So I hope you're now seeing why these trend lines are very, very important. I know I draw a lot of them, and that's because computers draw a lot of trend lines. They're not just drawing one trend line. But they help me with my decision making. Today we've taken, I think we've only taken 2 trades and they've both been winners. So we're 2-0 today. I haven't taken a loser yet. I mean, we're only an hour in, right? And we're up $445. That's a great hourly rate. So I'm not mad like that we're not taking more trades. I think with how volatile the market's been recently and how confusing, especially with all the news coming out, it's good to probably play things a little bit more on the cautious side. You're going to be more consistent that way in the long run, and you're going to prevent a lot of heartache. So right now, because of this pullback right here, we're going to look at the next swing level above this one, and it happens to be up here. And so we're going to be drawing this downward trend line now. We did trigger bearish because we closed underneath the standard deviation level and EMA. Problem is the measured move is going to run into this upward trend line and potentially the 50 level. So we're not going to be taking this. However, this bullish signal here is, the candle was a lot smaller when it was. We could potentially still take it though. There's room for it. There's room for us to take this bullish trade. Okay, so we're in. We're looking for that bounce. Back up. Okay, this is my first loss on the day. I actually really like the setup. It followed all of our rules. We had the room for it. I think maybe the only thing, maybe if I drew this line, I wouldn't have taken it, but okay, we just hit our bearish target. And looking back, if I had drawn this downward trend line, I wouldn't have taken this bullish trade higher. So that's my fault. It wasn't that I wasn't following my rules. It was that I was unaware that I should have drawn that line, which stinks sometimes. You forget to draw that one line and it helps to make your decision. But you gotta forgive yourself. You're gonna make mistakes. There's a lot of information coming out at you at once when you're trading. Yeah, I don't know. I thought without this trend line, it looked like it was good. Like we're going to hold this trend and continue going higher, maybe go up to 100. But that wasn't the case. Okay. We also triggered this downward trend line trade right here. You can see this swing low level here is potentially holding, marked by the golden ruler. Yeah, right now I'm keeping it simple. I was using too many EMAs. I'm only doing the 21 EMA. Obviously, I'm paying attention to the EMAs on the 5-minute as well, because those are very, very critical because they're a higher time frame. And then I'm doing the VWAP and the standard deviation levels. Trying to keep it simple. And the trend lines. Trying to do the KISS rule. Keep it simple, smarty. We just did trigger higher here, but we have this resistance overhead. Hey, John, didn't see you there. God bless, bro. Hope you had a good day. We'll talk later. Have a good one. Okay, so the bullish move worked. It hit its target. At this point, I want us to just break out of this range. This range really stinks. All right. Do we have enough room to take this? I think so. But it's already gone without us. Didn't even get us a chance for a pullback. All right. That was a pretty trade, but we couldn't participate. That's correct, Doug. The object of today is to have a green day. Have the luck of the Irish on our side today, right? All right, so we broke this downward trend line, we delete them. We start updating the micro trend line right there. Looks like we're making our way up to 100 maybe. I will have to be going in about 10 minutes. I have another 11 o'clock meeting today. But this has been a really good stream. I think we talked about a lot about the trend lines, how they work. So I do have another setup. Yeah, we're doing the boot camp this week. And so, yeah, I'm supporting, I'm not teaching, but sometimes I will say a few things during the boot camp. I'm going to draw this trend line right here. Sometimes when you draw these micro trend lines on the tick chart, the line will start moving. It's like a NinZaTrader glitch. Alright, this is technically going to be a trigger higher if we close above here, but we have this trend line in the way, but I have to measure it. Oh, this is right on the line. Never mind. Yeah. So this would be the move to take you to 100. Where can you always find gold? Where can you always find gold, Doug? Now, if it wasn't for this downward trend line here, we would have potentially taken this trade higher. And we could see it's acting as resistance. In the dictionary. Yeah, it does look like laser. It looks like a laser show. It does. It legitimately looks like a laser show. All right, we're breaking down. I say that and buyers just buy it back, right back up. Technically, this is a buy. And the target's going to be really small. This is a really small candle. I already moved it to break even. It needs to just do its move now. There we go. Nice little trade there. I think we got 74.83-ish. So I got like 9 points. This one had room to do it though. And you see as soon as we hit target, boom, profit taking. Sometimes it's threading the needle with these trades. And you can't get greedy either. Like you can say, oh, it's going to keep going higher. It's going to go to 100 maybe, but look at the resistance of overhead here and here. Like I took it at a measured move based on this candle here. We had room for it, so I took the high probability setup. Now I'm not going to take this bounce here because what is forming now is another trend line like this. So it did trigger higher, but and it might just go hit 87 without pulling back. All right, we hit target on the bullish trade. Still in that bearish trade. That hasn't stopped out yet. Let me delete this line and this measured move here. We also have this look. So you can see the wedge is getting tighter and tighter again. Yeah, we are uptrending overall. We did have this nice pullback areas here, and then we're now back into an uptrend. All right, guys, it is 10:55. I have a meeting in a few minutes. We took 4 total trades, 3 winners, 1 loser. We ended the day on $516, including fees on one account, and did well on some of the other accounts as well. So what is our win rate? Let's see. 3 out of 4, right? So 75% win rate. Not bad, not bad at all. We definitely achieved our goal on St. Patrick's Day of being green. So I'm happy about that. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it, especially around the lessons on how to draw these trend lines and why these trend lines are so important. I think a lot of people get hung up, especially because I draw a lot of trend lines on my chart, but they all have a purpose. And with that being said, I hope it was a little bit clearer today on why I draw these trend lines and how I use them. Hope you guys have a great St. Patrick's Day, great Tuesday, and I'll see you guys back on here tomorrow at 9:20 a.m. Eastern Time. Thank you, and God bless.